Welcome back.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so we are starting. We are starting. What's the name of this podcast?
Reflective practice radio.
There you
Yes.
go. Reflective practice. Have you been practicing your reflections? Have you been reflecting on your practice? I like how it goes both ways. Huh?
So I've been reflecting on my practicing, and I've been practicing my reflections.
Nice.
I've been doing it all. How about you?
Oh, I have. I so much have. Yes, quite a bit, a lot.
Yes.
It's funny, last night, thinking of reflection, um, so I have this 5-year journal.
Yes.
That's a small book, right? Each page is for a day, and then each section is for a year. So you only get to write like either one slightly long sentence
Yes.
or like two really short sentences.
Ooh, constraints.
Yeah, very constrained. So it's like I love that because if all I get is like 2 minutes to reflect on my day, I cannot say, yeah, I didn't have 2 minutes to write down what happened today. How will I remember this day in the future? If there's one thing to remember, it's like if I cannot stop for a minute or two to write that down,
Yeah.
I need to revise my life.
Yeah.
I need to make some changes. So I'm in the third year of this book. So it's
Nice.
very interesting because I pick it up at the end of the day before going to the bedroom. And then I go straight to the thing that I want to note. It's like, okay, what is the first thing that comes to mind? I don't look through my notes or anything. It's like, what is the first thing that comes to mind? I write it down and then I think, okay, is there anything else that I may want to add? Okay, good. All right, now let me look up and see like 2 years ago, 1 year ago. So last night I wrote something like, okay, I had my AI agents at full force today. 2 screens. On each screen, I had an individual agent working on a whole separate feature.
Yes.
And by feature, yesterday, what I meant was a collection of stories, like multiple, like on one I had it was 5 stories, on the other one it was like 4 or something like that, right? At the same time, they were like cranking through
Yes.
things, working through the user stories I had given it, the plan that I gave it. Um, and then it was like writing tests, writing the back end, writing the front end, everything at once. So I wrote that down. My AI was at full force today, working on 2 important relevant features. Great, awesome. Let me look at last year. You're gonna like that. So what I wrote exactly a year ago was that Rider AI had created an Angular application and 2 features.
Mm-hmm.
So now thinking about the meaning of words, what I meant by features 1 year ago was actually 2 stories, very little stories,
Yes.
like very minimal. But that was my transition between using ChatGPT,
In the browser.
copying code
Yes.
back and forth, or using JetBrains AI. Only the thing that it was like, oh, I have some source code here, apply AI to refactor that, to change it around, to
Yeah.
write a little class. It was not like going into an agent and saying, here,
Here's the.
create an app,
Yes.
build this feature. That was the first time I did that exactly a year ago. And I just see, for one, how fast things changed and the proportion of that. A year ago, it was 2 very little minimal features,
Yes.
something I was playing with. It was a little toy project just to experiment with. Yesterday, no, it's like production quality, big features from massive user stories and acceptance criteria and all that.
This suggests to me if you could go back into the past, a day from, I mean, a year from yesterday, and read this year's post, it would not make any sense to you.
No, no, it's like what is that futuristic guy talking about? That is not, I could not conceive that. At that point in time, I could not have conceived where we are right now.
I mean, but even because of the constraints, if you read that post a year ago, the one you made yesterday, you would try to make sense of it.
Right.
And
Right.
you would apply the word feature that you wrote yesterday in the same way you understood it the year before.
Yes. You're right on the money there. You're right on the money there.
This is crazy.
It is. It is because this connects with I don't remember if we talked about in the podcast here, but I've been noticing over the last maybe 3 or 4 months how our Scrum board has changed, where for each swim lane, which usually equates to a product backlog item,
Yeah.
which is usually a user story. So I used to have the swim lane as one user story, and then each card is a task. Over the last, say, 3 to 4 months, that has shifted to each swim lane being a feature and each card being a full story.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer doing the tasks for that, because whereas in the past it used to be, okay, for this story, I need a task, one task per endpoint that I need to create, one task per each Angular service that will consume that endpoint, one task per component, one task per handler and controller and test. And it's like, it was very granular because it would take me like maybe 10 minutes on this task, 2 hours on that, 5 hours on that, and so on. And then if it would take, oh, it's going to take 12 hours. No, there's no 12 hours. I'm going to decompose that. So I had a whole bunch of tasks for one story. With these tools now, I don't waste time creating that level of tasks on the board.
It's no longer necessary.
It's the story.
Yes.
Because when I give the story to the agent, it knows how to decompose those because I gave instructions. Correct. It's like, okay, this is how you decompose the thing. Let me review the plan and then go. So I may add, besides the story itself, I will add a task to say, okay, I need to produce the stories and review them. So it means if I see that, it's like, have I reviewed that as a human? I don't want to just like, yeah, create the stories and go. It's like, no. I'm the human. It's a story. It applies to a human. Otherwise, it would be a requirement.
Yes.
I'm not giving you a requirement. I'm giving you a story. Let's have a conversation. So I want to make sure that that happens, right? And then once that is done, then it's like when I hit build or implement and it's working through it, it's working on the story. So it's changing like what cards I add to the board and what they mean.
You have the benefit today of working on a team where everyone is AI enabled. And it informs the way you lay out stories, the way you point things,
Yes,
everything. In my situation, we are still working in an environment where some people are using the tools, some people are not. So when we're pointing things, we're pointing them from the perspective of a human is going to be doing all of the labor.
Gotcha.
And I look at some of the way we point these items and I'm like, I can get that done in much less time. But I have to point this in, and honestly, an insincere way, an inaccurate way, because I do not plan to do this task manually.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I've assigned, okay, let's say this is a task that may take 5 hours. In reality, because I have all of the requirements and they live in ADO, very well defined because the team is good at that side of things. So I have a means of reproducing the issue. Let's say it's a bug. There are screenshots, there's a discussion, and I take all of this information. I've set up a skill for this inside of my IE. So all I do is paste the link from ADO into the editor. It kicks off this investigation. It uses AZCLI to retrieve all of this information from Azure and starts the investigation. It'll create the document that is comprised of all of the details from ADO. And then it does the investigation, creates an investigation doc, and then it says, hey, this is what I've discovered. Would you like me to implement the fix? So the very last thing is the implementation, Before that, it is me poring over the details of the investigation.
Yeah, understood.
And I implement, and it's done.
Yeah,
And it's done.
yeah. So it will be important. And what you're mentioning is something, it's like, yeah, I'm hearing of folks who have this hybrid situation.
Yeah.
And so it's like learn from that, I guess experiment from like how do you communicate that so that the other folks on the team will like catch on to that, because it's really where it's going. Right. So yeah, as you pointed out with my team, yeah, we're all like AI enabled. We are like every morning when we, and this is something important, right? Every morning when we show up for daily scrum, we don't focus just on what did I do yesterday? What will I do today? Right. It's like we branch into what have I experimented with yesterday? Why? Like, why am I experimenting with that?
Yeah.
What have I learned? Will that change in any way how I'm going to do things today? What am I expecting to have at the end of the sprint, for instance? So, for example, in my current project, I've been using Cursor for about a year now,
Yeah.
pretty much exclusively, right? But on the side, I've been playing with Windsurf as well, right? To learn how, both tools do things slightly different. So yesterday I decided, okay, on this one, I'm going to actually shift. I'm going to do 100% Windsurf only.
Yes.
Because I want to see like, am I going to get the same kind of output? Is it going to struggle with the same things that I sometimes see Cursor struggling with, that I need to like steer it a little bit here, change my instructions a little bit there? So that's what I communicated to the team this morning. Like yesterday, I used Windsurf exclusively for the following reason. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm seeing. I'll keep the team posted. Right. And that's how we've been doing this for pretty much the last year and a half. Like every morning we talk about these things. And that's how we've been like really honing in adjusting our process slightly to benefit from the tools, and adjusting the process so that, yeah, the process, we need to get good quality user stories, and we have to have the team have a conversation about the stories, right? Now, the time that we used to spend on that, it used to be like maybe a couple of hours per story, depending on the complexity of the story. Now that's a few minutes to generate the story. And then maybe we spend 10 minutes having a conversation about the story.
Yes.
And depending on what comes out of that conversation, okay, we do need to engage the stakeholders because we have some questions and we cannot really tell that story. That's the thing. We're not creating requirements. Are we able to tell that story? To tell that story to the stakeholders, can we tell that story? So that's how we drive that conversation. Mind blowing, man.
When people watch this, especially people who have yet to experiment and explore with these tools in the ways that we have, they may be asking, okay, you're using Cursor, you're using Windsurf. Both are very similar in ways. There is a chat window on the right side of the screen where you can input some prompts. Both support rules, both support workflows and skills.
Right.
Why one over the other? And I think that gets us into the territory of saying or asking, what models are we using? What are the benefits of one over the other? I know Cursor has some internal model that they use, and maybe Windsurf has a similar paradigm. But in both, for example, if you wanted to use Claude, both support this model. Gemini, both support that model, and so on. Even with ChatGPT, GPT 5.2, both support that model. So if that is the case, you're using the frontier models, what value do you get out of one versus the other?
Yes. So that's thanks for bringing that up. So one thing that I know with Cursor ever since they've added the auto mode,
Yes,
that's what I've been using. Because honestly, I don't want to spend time, if I can, like trying to figure out what model should I choose. It's like, I know the task that I have on hand, not the task, I know the outcome, the desired outcome that I have. Like, go, do the thing.
Yeah.
And then if what comes out, it's not something I like, maybe I will think, yeah, maybe I need to experiment with a different model to see if I get what kind of result do I get. Right? So I go like, I'm gonna work on the exception. Like I'll set like auto has been working great for several months now, right? Now I have noticed, like for instance, a few months ago, I was using auto to fix some visual things on a website.
Yes.
Dark mode implementation,
Yeah.
right? And Cursor was struggling hard on it. It just couldn't. Say, okay, let me change it to whatever the latest model that everybody was talking about, say 2 months ago. I switched into that model.
Yeah. Right away.
Like right away. Like right away. It was like night and day. It was ridiculous. So that was just the key for me to say, okay, if I'm giving something and I see it struggling too hard, yeah, just try another model, just to see, right, what goes. So that's been my way to go. And also the reason why I stuck with that is because the auto mode, then it does not eat your token allocation. So that was my thing, is like I don't have to think about, like, out of dozens of models which one to select, and is it too expensive? How many tokens am I like spending, wasting tokens? Like, I'm not thinking of any of that until I may have to. So like in the Cursor account that I'm using, there's a $20 allocation.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this task, I know it could benefit from like using a thinking model to just like usually creating the plan for it, right? I give all of these user stories and I say, okay, now let's create a plan for it. I may switch into that mode. So like last sprint or the sprint before, I gave this one thing that was sizable, like a very sizable set of stories. And I said, okay, think about this and let's use whatever the best model was there, or not the best, one that people were like, oh, it's exciting, it's very capable. I selected that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, well, because I never really select anything outside of auto, just use that model to implement the thing as well. $9 later, $9 later, and maybe about an hour and a half later,
Yeah.
I had the feature with multiple stories implemented.
Yes.
Not a small feature. It's like $9. It, without all this, it would have taken me days,
Yeah.
if not a week or two, to implement at that level with that number of automated tests and quality and all that.
So given the context, $9 is virtually nothing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
This makes me think. We're increasingly marching towards a world where we have to pay to play. And what I mean by that is, if you're an organization that can afford to exclusively use the frontier models, for example, you're using Claude 4.5 Opus, which one of the more pricey models, or you're using ChatGPT's 5.2 extended thinking or whatever, you're more often than not going to get very high quality outputs. Whereas people who have to be concerned with how many tokens they're using, and we have a shared pool of tokens, for example, and you don't want to use this many, so you have to be more selective about which model you choose. Or in your case, you choose an automatic model that may trend towards being more economical. So
Yeah.
this will begin to separate people. Like even in our organization, we have people here who have like Claude Code accounts. And these are not cheap.
Right.
These are pretty pricey.
You mean like the $200?
They have a $200 tier. They have a $100 tier, and of course they have the $20 a month tier that does also give some Claude Code usage, but not a whole lot of runway. this will begin to separate people naturally in the way that having a lot of, outside of the tech world context, in the same ways that having a lot of money will determine how much healthcare access you have versus someone who does not have that same amount of money and has to rely on like public services. So these are some of the things that come to mind.
So, oh man, I'm like, I brought this today to take quick notes.
Nice.
So that's like, oh, I want to go back to that without interrupting, so we can keep building on it. Yeah. Okay, so I work, going back to your previous original question about, okay, using cursor, with using windsurf.
Yes.
What if you use the same model? So for the longest time, right, even though, like, I think in cursor, the first thing was the ability to say add rules.
Yes.
Before we were able to add custom commands and even then, I had not been using rules. I had been using, I have this markdown. When I need that stuff, I drag it over into the chat.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking too much. Am I polluting the context? I'm just thinking like, is it getting what I need done?
Correct.
Right?
And I think that is a more important question than how many tokens am I using here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I've been focused on that. And I'm building like this library of markdowns that I just like selectively go and it's like, yeah, for this thing, hello, Mr. AI, Mrs. AI, you're gonna need this one and this one and this one. Go. Right? It's been working pretty well so far. So yesterday, that was one of the things that I wanted to experiment with in windsurf. It's like, okay, I had started on some other like side little projects to try out these things or my own automation for blogging, for journaling. Like, okay, let me create a workflow in windsurf for this, a workflow for that. Get into that mindset to see what comes out of it. So yesterday I said, okay, I want to take all of those or the main instructions that I use all the time when I'm implementing features. And I told Cursor, Windsurf, take all of these markdowns, create me some workflows out of that. Right. Oh, here's the thing. Because like we've had people explain like, okay, rules, workflows, skills.
Yes.
This is how the tools use them and how they manage the context and this and that and the other. I cannot clearly articulate on that. To be very clear, because it's like I'm focused on trying to get stuff done.
Fair.
And if I'm getting the stuff done, I'm good with that.
Yes.
Right. So yesterday I said, okay, everybody's talking about skills, skills, skills. Windsurf. Here are these markdown files. Create me some workspace skills. I said workspace because it's very specific to that one project. So I said, create me some workspace, not global, skills.
Yes.
It read the stuff and it said, I will be creating workflows, not skills. It decided to create as workflows. I'm like, okay, dude, you know it better than I do. So go for it. Right? It did all the processing. And then in the end, they said, okay, now you can invoke it with this, or you can just say the following thing.
Yes.
Without the slash. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. Like, yeah, I like what I see so far.
Yes.
And I got to that without even fully understanding how that whole thing works.
Because it does. It does. For example, I have an investigate bug skill, and it can be invoked by, / investigate -bug, and I can pass in the link to the ADO.
Right.
Because this link is protected, this model cannot access the link. But what it can do instead is use AZ, Azure CLI, to extract the ticket number and find it that way.
Yeah.
So I could just do investigate bug and the ticket number itself, and it will go fetch this, get all of the information, take the task to completion just as a part of the investigation. Like that is the entire skill.
Yeah.
Something else I did, and I created a skill for this as well. We record videos all the time.
Yeah.
And we don't really care about the video itself. What we do is we convert the audio into a transcript, correct?
Yes.
We take the transcript and then we do something with that. All of the things that are shown in this video may be it screenshots or a whiteboard. All of this is lost because we don't really know what to do with it yet. what I've done, because we have new MCP tools like the Chrome DevTools browser extension,
Mhm.
which can invoke the browser and take screenshots. It can't like stream the video and look at it and tell you what happened, the guy moved his hands, or an animation took place. It can only see at the beginning of this animation and at the end because it's taking screenshots. So it's very specific moments in time.
Mhm.
But if you're doing like a big knowledge transfer and there's a video for it, there's a lot of value in just getting that audio, doing the transcription and, extracting details and maybe saying, hey, convert this into a process. So, or some documentation. So the next person that reads this doesn't have to look through the entire video. We're only extracting the most high impact and valuable pieces of it. What if we can use this Chrome DevTools MCP to allow it to play the video? You've already extracted the audio, so it has a transcript, and everything is timed. So it knows that at 19 minutes, Claudio was showing this screen. What if this MCP can then take a screenshot of that, save that to a file, and make that a part of the documentation as well? That's also something I've done recently.
That's
So
awesome.
now we get the value of, the audio and the transcript, but also what is being shown on the screen.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Yeah. Yeah. That, oh man, yes. 100% on that. Um, so yeah, let's go back, and I guess we are gonna circle around that. Using Cursor, using Windsurf, different models, different tools, and what have you. What I've been noticing is like and it's my perception, right? With Cursor, Auto has been working great for everything that I have created instructions for.
Yes.
So once I know it's like, okay, this is the story we're working on or the feature and so on, go ahead and implement it. It will know how we design endpoints, how we test, like we write API tests, how we implement them, how we implement the control. Like it already knows all of that. The guardrails are up once they know it's like, yep, these are your constraints, here are your guardrails go. Auto works just fine for that.
Yes.
If I give an instruction like, oh yeah, doing the dark mode thing a few weeks ago, it had no parameters within our code base. It was looking out whatever it was trained on and whatever, and it was not finding it until I got a better model.
Yeah.
Right. And then from there, I keep now like, okay, when we do dark mode, create some instructions so that you know.
That is the fix. It's not to go and use the better model. That is the fix.
Yes.
If it knows, and this is what I've been doing in my personal projects as well, if it knows, okay, this is how our theming system works.
Yeah.
So that's better than just saying, hey, we use Tailwind, go and do the dark mode thing. Yeah. This is how we do theming in this project. And it's a document. You don't have to go and look at a whole bunch of files. Everything is localized here. So if you're really concerned about minimizing token usage, that's what you do. You give it a document, so you draw a very small circle around the problem, and it doesn't have to go and look everywhere and come back and say, hey, now I have the complete picture.
Right.
But the complete picture comes at a cost of having to burn through all those tokens to get it. Instead, you have a document with this information. You've only used as many tokens as necessary to, parse it and look at the relevant files, not everything. And now you go off and complete the task, and you're probably still within the same context window.
Yeah. So that has been a thing where I don't care much about which model, how much text am I using and tokens, and like it's getting the stuff done, man.
Right.
Right.
But you get there by having the first experience.
Oh yeah.
And this is what lends us to marching towards this AI fluency, where the idea isn't, hey, we always have to go and use the biggest and the best model. It's instead, no. Because I've worked with this tool and I see the way it ticks, I know where it falls down and I know how to support it. I know how to give it structure in those cases to prevent this or to minimize it. If it has a document that it can reference that has all of the relevant paths that it needs to go and look at, it doesn't have to look everywhere.
There you go. Which has been, as you're describing that, like a lot of the instructions that I have today, the main instructions that I use, when I started building them about a year ago now, I would like, okay, it's this one distinct task I need you to do. Go do it. And I would be like this.
Yes.
I'm watching it do, and then I see, oh, I'm looking for this file here. I'm grabbing this file there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, it's like, okay, go through the end, and then I go back and say, for this, you look here. For this, you look
That's
there.
right.
Da, 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 da.
Yes.
Next time you don't have to do that.
Right.
So I kept doing that. Like that knowledge base has been increasing. So it's being more like of hands off.
Mhm.
Like, okay, I was telling you to do this one task and
Yeah.
then this one task. Now, like, do all of this because we've been through this before.
You're describing one of the traps that is disguised as a benefit.
Hmm.
And it is this idea that you can set it, walk away, and go do something else while this process is happening. Sure, you can do this, but you lose all insight into what's happening step by step.
Yep.
And if you're paying attention and you watch this process, you can see, oh, it's doing something that it does not need to be doing here.
Mhm.
Or it's searching in places where it does not have to search. I know where this stuff is and I can tell it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to do that. But if you walk away, which we disguise as a benefit, being able to go and make a coffee while it's doing its thing, which is, cool,
Yeah.
but
And then you come back,
it's done.
you spill the coffee. Like, oh.
Or you come back to spilled coffee. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the other thing.
Yeah.
But if you, take the time to watch the way it ticks, this is how we build that fluency. So it's not about, creating these workflows and things and walking away. It is creating them and then peering in, watching what it's doing. Eventually, maybe we do reach a point where we can comfortably walk away, but I don't think that's where we are today.
No.
Even though these tools are incredibly good, it is still very valuable for us to understand how they tick or to build some intuition about that.
Yeah.
But if you're walking away, then you can't do that because you don't know how it arrived there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even, 100%. Oh man, the image that you conjured up in my mind here, because I always, think about as I'm doing this collaboration with AI, is like I'm collaborating with a person, even though I'm the guy who never tells AI, please, thank you. I still work, right?
Yes.
With it, like I'm collaborating with somebody.
Yes.
So I think like when I'm collaborating with somebody, like a person, and we're pairing, and I see the person reaching for the mouse for everything that they could just hit a shortcut.
Yes.
I say, excuse me, hold on. Okay, you got it done. Perfect. Let me show a quicker way to get there.
You could select all this text by doing Command A.
Right, yeah. Did you know of these things? Like, oh. So yeah, when you're looking for this and then not just telling the person, use this shortcut, but it's like, think about it. If you're going for the mouse, is there a way? Because if it's on the menu, it's a command within the system that you can map a shortcut to it.
If one is not already mapped by default.
Exactly. So go look for that. So teach them the process.
Yes.
So the same way we do that with a person to get them more productive, same thing with the AI. You tell it, it's going all the way over here. It's like, nobody, there's a shortcut. You go here. And if you cannot find that shortcut, this is how you think through it. Like, oh, this person likes writing stories without including technical details. They want to think from a person's perspective. So they know that.
What you're describing, Claudio, is a huge gap in the way that we teach new people or new developers or whoever about how we use these tools.
True.
As much as it is important to understand how to prompt, etc., it is important to understand when and where to intervene. It is important to understand how to think about these tools. And you want to think about them as if you're working with another person. This is not to humanize the thing. This is to say that, hey, some of the same intuitions you have about working with another being, a human, the same things apply here.
Yeah.
Because it's going off and doing the same work you would do manually. So you want it to somewhat reason about these things in the same ways that you would. So if you catch it doing something that isn't the correct way of doing it, and you don't intervene, it's going to continue to do things in that way and burn through a whole bunch of tokens. If there's a shared pool of tokens and you're wasting tons of them, then you're not harming just yourself. You're harming the entire community that depends on that pool of tokens.
True. Yeah, I love that. And that ties us back to the other thing, as you talked about, I wrote down medicine. You're talking about costs.
Yes.
Right. So I'm like the parallel that came to mind is, okay, maybe somebody who suffers from a certain kind of illness. Now there's a new pill that you can take.
Yeah.
That costs a lot of money,
Mhm.
but you solve that problem,
Yes.
right? And then you have somebody who says, well, if you come here, live with me in the country for 3 months, you can eat some natural stuff and it's gonna get that out of you.
Yeah.
And it's free. You can come stay with me. Right? So that's the analogy that's coming from me is like, okay, I can pay the $200 ChatGPT something for a month to
Yeah.
get that all going, or I can learn how to use the auto mode in Cursor for $20,
Yeah.
teach it with the things, show it the natural way of doing things, the healthy way of doing things, and it will get what I need done.
Man. I mean, our podcast is heavy on philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm really comfortable. I like being in that space. I like thinking. I like imagining. I like thinking about the human implications of things and the way that we reason, not just from a logical standpoint, but the way that we feel about the tools that we're working with. And a lot of it now is bordering on the philosophical. Like we're moving away from, the syntax and caring about that in the ways that we did just even 2 years ago. We're thinking about the whys.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily like a purely logic driven thing. Like when we sit in front of the clients, like, and we're purely logic driven, some of the things that they may be saying don't seem logical to us, or don't seem logical. But this is tied to their why, the way that they're doing things. So we have to set logic aside because this project isn't about what we want in our preferences. This is about them.
Yes. Well, and it's the whole like servant mindset, right? You're trying to serve somebody. So, oh man, I don't remember where I read this, but it stuck with me. Oh, yes, I do remember. The quote is their perception, your reality.
Yeah.
It was in the book called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent book, right? Where they talk about this is right. You're working with the people you're serving, whatever their perception is, if you're serving that, that's your reality.
That's right.
And it's a difficult thing to get our minds around, but
yes,
it's what it is. If like, oh, you're trying to make a living out of that,
yeah,
you have to bear with that. You have to learn to naturally be comfortable with that.
yes. And to become more comfortable with that kind of thing, this is something you have to recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't mean that you have to integrate their ways of thinking into your ways of being.
Right.
This just means their perception is informing the work that you do. So it is your reality.
Yes.
It doesn't mean these are your beliefs.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And that ties into like the transcript, like transcribing conversations and meetings and all. I've just a few days ago, I've read a post online where the author is talking about like how several roles that used to be individual roles, they're like morphing into a single role. So like product owner, business analyst, QA, developer, meaning the coder.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the fifth one is. Maybe UX designer or something like that. That's really morphing into a single one. And I know that like, and that post resonated with me because like I have been making a point to myself to learn how to do those things by hand.
Yes.
How to be a product owner, how to be a business analyst, how to be those things, even though like I don't make a living out of playing those roles.
That's right.
Dedicated to those roles, was like I need to learn how to do those myself so that when I'm collaborating with people who are performing those roles, I can think somehow the way they think, and we can increase collaboration that way.
Because you've built an intuition by doing the thing.
Yeah.
Even though you're not doing it at the level that they're doing it, you can have more informed opinions because you've taken strides in learning how to do the thing.
Yeah, which I relate to like being a musician.
That's right.
right?
This
So,
is
but
hard.
for me, just learning enough, like how
Yeah.
to play the drums, how
Yeah.
to write some lyrics, how to try to come up with
Yes.
melodies. I'm none of those things, but I can communicate in a band and we can create something better together because of that.
Harmony. And that is ultimately the goal.
Yes,
Harmony. Us
Yes.
playing different instruments at different timings, but
yeah,
harmoniously.
yep. And from that, what is coming to me through like the transcribing things, where like on this post, the author mentioned something about, uh, you need to be something like you need to be either like deeply technical or deeply like business knowledgeable,
Yeah.
right? Because now if you're deeply business knowledgeable, you can use AI tools to help you with the technical
That's right.
and the other way around,
Yeah.
right? If you use it properly. Now, the way I am actually seeing it, I'm not on either of those. Like, I don't see myself deep technical or deep business either.
Right.
I kind of like I sit in the middle, going back and forth. And this third mode is where I'm leveraging AI tools like recently, where I've pulled up some transcripts from conversations from like 2 months ago
Yes.
that I couldn't remember, like a lot of the questions or the context, even though I was there, I was asking the questions. Like, I've been so busy doing a lot of other
Yeah.
things, I couldn't remember those things. I didn't have time to internalize the understanding of that.
Yes.
But I knew they were there. I knew where they fit. So when I pulled that up, I worked with AI saying, hey, here's the transcript. This is where I want you to focus on. Here's the code base, right? Analyze, create a plan. Let's work on this. Okay, go ahead and build that. And maybe I spent, say, 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
in this back and forth. And then I say, go. It worked for like an hour, 2 hours. I don't know. I was busy doing something else. When I came back and it told me it's ready, like, okay, let me try it. Interesting. Yeah, the menu, I go to the different okay, that looks good. I look at the stories, like, yeah, that looks interesting. I bring that up to the stakeholders and they're like blown away.
Yeah. Is this what you want?
It's like,
Yeah.
how did you get all of that? It's like, you guys told me. So that's the thing. Like, now I don't even have to fully understand
Yes.
everything that I'm hearing. If I can bridge that gap and connect the two, the technical and the business, and put something in front of them, now we can have a conversation.
The wild part about this is, Claudio, this is something that we could have always been doing before AI.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The reason we weren't is because of how we did meetings. A lot of the meeting will be left on the table.
Yeah.
We're in the meeting, we have some notepad, we're taking notes. Does this sound right? Okay. And we think we leave the meeting with a shared understanding. And that is just not true. We weren't even recording the meetings. Like, just being able to record the meetings at 1997 or whatever and be able to listen back over the entire meeting will get us closer to where we are today versus taking notes.
Yeah.
But being able to take so for example, you were only able to do the complete thing because you had the transcript of the meeting.
Yeah.
If you would have, told the AI to go and implement it based on your notes or the way that you remembered it,
It would be nowhere near.
it would be nowhere near.
Yeah.
So it isn't just, okay, the AI tools are just so good now. It is that they are empowered by the context that we're able to extract from the whole meeting.
Yes.
Not just the highlights of it.
Yes. And here, yes, 100%. And what at that point, what really helps, having been the person in the room, putting up the guardrails around what are we talking about,
Yes.
facilitating the conversation and asking the questions, steering the conversation towards what do you perceive as a problem? Let's get down to the bottom of like, what is the actual need? Talk about the need, talk about the scenario, the intents and the pain points, like steering that conversation, because then when I drop it into AI, my instructions know exactly how I want it to write the user stories, what to look for, and then the way it comes out is like, yep, we got it.
this also allows us to do something like an autopsy on the meeting, where we can say, hey, given the questions that were asked, were we moving towards the goal or away from it?
Yep. Yep.
Like these are the things that we're able to do. So what you're describing as your position, not deeply technical, not deeply business, this is like a loose definition of what it will mean to be full stack in the future.
I agree. Because what happens is like, oh, yeah, but you're doing this thing. Shouldn't you know everything like in deep details? Like, no, I need to know that, if I do need to go deeper, say on the technical side, I know who to go ask
Yes.
or what tools to get to that
Yes.
and keep digging. Same thing with the business. Like, well, but you only have like a shallow understanding of the business. Like, it doesn't matter how much I understand.
Yeah.
It matters that I deliver to who needs the solution what they do.
Yes. And that it's in alignment with the actual business case
Yeah.
versus my understanding of it, which may not be congruent with the actual business needs.
Exactly. Yeah, this has been, and we had this conversation. I do need to go back now to this solution I came up with because I do want to like run those analyses to say, okay, what were the questions I asked? Because now I have also the recording of the feedback
That's right.
we got from the stakeholders. And I can say, okay, based on the feedback we got, based on the results we created, the output that we presented,
Yeah.
what were the questions that helped us arrive there?
These are things that we could even map out in a visual way.
Yes. Yes. Like, okay,
man,
like what questions were the ones that took us there?
Yeah.
What questions would be even better
Yes.
asked for that? Like we cannot change the way it was, but next time we are in a similar situation,
Yes.
remember those questions.
So this helps us chart forward the agenda for the next meeting.
Yes.
The questions that we plan to ask. So now we're drawing an even smaller circle that gets us. Now we're on train tracks at this point.
Yeah.
Instead of us meandering towards the goal, we're on the rails moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. With this something I have one of my demos that I gave in one of my talks, like working with AI to create the stories and all, is like, oh, great, you created all the stories. Awesome. Ask me any questions.
Yes.
And then you go, okay, good. Great. I like the stories. I like the conversation we just had. Now I'm going to go talk to the stakeholders. What questions should I ask the stakeholders? Right. Like it's surprising because like, whoa, I thought I had all the questions. You asked me some good questions. That's
I didn't
great.
even
What
think of
else?
this.
Those.
Yeah.
And then you ask the stakeholders like,
oh, that's a very good question. Let me get back to you on that. Or let me call this like, that's what we should be striving for. That.
yeah.
Like we have lots of meetings, and just because you have an hour-long meeting doesn't mean that it was a quality meeting. It just means that it was an hour.
Yeah. Oh, so now we're gonna have to, oh man. You know how are you familiar with Uncle Bob's
Yes.
the clean code
Yeah.
book, like the WTFs for minute as the metric of code quality? I'm thinking something like that for like the quality of questions within a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many questions, like what was the quality of that meeting? The number of good quality questions, meaning questions that have allowed the conversation to move forward closer to the desired outcome.
Oh, now you can get really crazy by doing another post analysis where you say, okay, given everything we know now, we know the value of the questions that were asked. How much time in this meeting was actually valuable meeting time? So the meeting was an hour, but maybe it determines that, well, given the hour spent, only 20 minutes of this meeting were actually valuable.
Yeah. And how could we have made it better?
Yes.
For instance, you guys spent 10 minutes describing some things. You could have created an image.
That's right.
For that.
And there is nothing that is more satisfactory than an image when there needs to be an image. if I'm describing something, I have to rely on your imagination, or you being a visual person, being able to conjure up in your mind what I'm describing in a way
Yeah.
that is faithful to my description of it. And that is a gamble that we shouldn't be making ever.
Yeah,
Like we
exactly.
love analogies all day long, but if a picture beats out my description of it, we should always go with the picture.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man. So last night I was experimenting with something. Uh, 2 years ago, I've read this book called See What You Mean,
Yeah.
which is about like drawing, say like comic books, like explaining concepts, like business concepts, like real world concepts through like comic strips,
Yes.
right? And I've read that book because I like that kind of stuff. I like reading comic books. I like drawing, not really good at it, but it's
Mhm.
something I can spend some time on it and I enjoy that. So I thought, well, I could put the two together to maybe use that to illustrate some concepts and things that I'm trying to explain to people. I experimented with that. I was successful in the way that, like, yeah, the images didn't look that great. I'm not a great, a cartoonist, but it was enough. Like sticky figures will
Yes.
do, right? What words can't in certain cases. But it took me a while to think through that and create the frames and figure out exactly from which perspective
Yep.
do I want to show things. Well, now with AI.
Yeah.
So last night I was experimenting with that. I need to flesh out what I'm trying to do and the results that I'm getting. And
Oh,
I
man.
am blown away by the what I'm getting and the potential of this. I am like, because I'm thinking it's another one of those. I'm creating the individual like Lego block
Yes.
to get some of that going and iron out that process and that system to get to a point where mid conversation, I'll tell people in the room, give me 2 minutes. Take the transcript part of that part of the conversation, run through my system. Here's like a little cartoon comic strip, something like that.
They get it right away if it's visual. This, as you're describing like your process of having to do this manually, trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what perspective to draw these figures from, like to me, that is analogous to context pollution.
Mm.
Because sure, while it serves the actual thing that you're trying to get done, it also moves you away from it because you're hyper focusing on, okay, should the person be in this way or that way? All of that goes away by being able to describe the level, maybe the idea from a higher level,
Right.
and saying, hey, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Go off, create this, bring it back as an image. Now I can show this to you. It took all of 2 to 5 minutes, and now we can move forward with a shared understanding, not assumptions that this person understood what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. Think of the time saved so that, instead of having that back and forth where, yeah, you have some refinement meeting with stakeholders
Yeah.
and then you talk a little bit more during planning
Yep.
and then you work, say, 2 weeks on it and then we show it to stakeholders at
And
sprint review and they're like,
underwhelmed.
yeah, like,
Underwhelmed. They're
no,
like, that's not
no.
exactly what we wanted. And they're jaded because we spent an hour talking about this, and it's almost like you guys just didn't understand what we were communicating to you. And in many respects, that is true.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now we're cutting that in
Yeah.
every time, and that has been part of many of my talks, right? I want to show up at sprint review and have the sensation that's like, we are making progress.
Yes.
We're moving forward.
In the progress that feels very tangible. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, before you even come to the next meeting, I'm showing you images because I generated them in this meeting. Like that was unheard of. Like unless you are a person that can get in front of the whiteboard, mock something up real quick, draw some boxes and draw the images of the people inside, some captions. But even that's gonna take 10 minutes, even if you're really good. Like
Yeah.
prompt. This is what I want to showcase. Hey, take 2 minutes to go take a coffee break or whatever. You come back, you're coming back to an image in the same meeting.
Yeah.
Like that is tangible.
Man, yeah. And it makes me think like somebody who is who is good at doing that, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cartoonist who can like hear everybody and
Sure.
right. So if that person can codify that,
Yes.
beautiful. Because like
Yeah.
last night, that's where I was having a hard time because like I don't know the language
Right.
to describe to an AI tool, hey, this is the style that I want. This is this. It's like I don't know that. I don't even know how to describe that. So part of my thing last night was to do some research.
Yes.
Like tell me the different kinds of styles. What is a style for this purpose, for this kind of audience? What is that style even called? So then it
Yeah.
gave me like 3 or 4 styles and explained why it would fit.
Yes.
And then it asked me, oh, would you like to give me some context, some examples? And I can like, yes, here. Okay, for that, this would be a better style for that. And then pipe that through a tool to create the visuals. I'm like, this is gold.
It is gold, but you have to take it a step further and
Mhm.
say, hey, from this, exercise, let's develop a style guide.
Oh yeah,
So we don't have to do this whole process ever
that's
again.
next step. Yes.
We have a style guide now. So
Yes.
hey,
Yes.
if we're doing this thing, view it through this lens.
Uh-huh.
Utilize that style
Yep.
right away.
Yep.
You've already cut the time.
That's exactly where I'm going. But it's like I need to take my baby steps, right?
Correct.
That's
Yeah,
like
yes.
yesterday we were talking about like scaffolding, right? It's
Yes.
like here's where I am, that's where I want to be. But to
Mhm.
get there, what's my next steps? Like, well, it's this thing. I know
Yes.
how to draw a sticky figure, and I know that I want comics for like a business setup. Help me get there.
Yes.
Right? One step at a time. Sometimes I talk to folks like, oh, yeah, but you still have to do all that by hand. It's like, I'm working my way there, man. That's, you know, like one step at a time, one friction point at a time. So I can glide through that
Yes.
and spend time on the things that I want to spend time on, which is having the conversation with people, paying attention to what they're saying, their
Yeah.
body language,
Yes.
translating that.
The
into
things that AI cannot yet do.
cannot yet do, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I love it. How are we doing on time?
We're probably just on an hour. Well, coming
Yeah.
up on it, yeah.
Holy cow,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is
Yeah.
perfect. Very nice. Love it.
Man.
Love it. This is a very, very good conversation, man.
But I think this is what the office experience should look like, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
given the way these tools operate, and the ways that we can offload certain tasks to some agents to go off and do, what are we doing while those agents are doing those things? And I think what we should be doing and prioritizing is talking to each other in the office. Otherwise, what is the point of us even being in here together?
Yeah.
Like, what is the point? We should be talking to each other. Hey, what are some of the things that you're doing and how are they working for you? Here's what I'm doing and how it's working for me. And we exchange ideas. And this doesn't require us to be in front of these devices.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, this technology should allow us to do more of the human things.
Love it.
And to prioritize the human things.
Yeah.
Our jobs for the past years or so have been screen all day, type, voice dictation even. But if we can offload some of the work, we are allowed to do some of the more meaningful work, which is the human to human work.
Love it.
That's what we should be prioritizing.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why anytime I see like any like blog post or YouTube video or whatever that says automate your life, why would I want to automate my life? I want to automate things that I don't enjoy doing in my life that needs doing so that I can focus on the things that I really enjoy doing.
Right.
Right. But like just the blank, like automate your life, automate your entire life, automate your full life.
And the question that should follow that kind of thing is always why. Okay, I've automated my life. I've freed up all this time. What am I freeing it up to do?
Right? Yes. Yeah, now you're free to do whatever.
To do what though? Like,
yeah.
To do what?
To be like this?
Or anything. Like, no. Automate away the things that are, mundane tasks. things that you do not like to do over and over, things that can be automated, like automate those things, but do it to serve some agenda, something that creates more space and time for you to do a thing, not for you to do nothing. I mean, if your objective is to do nothing, I guess go off and automate everything, but I don't see there being a whole lot of value in not doing things.
So, and like, it brings back to a conversation we were having last week. Like, is it the doing things or is it the experiencing things? Like, do you want to do something to have experienced that thing, or is it just the doing the thing? Right? Because I think, like, for many things, what we really enjoy is what we experience from doing the thing.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not just for the sake of, oh, I just want to do it just because
just because, right. I would say that is one of the driving forces in software developers rejecting AI, because it is promising to replace the thing that they really derive a lot of enjoyment from doing. Like being here, solving challenging tasks manually, like utilizing all of this stuff that you've built up over this time.
Yeah.
And there's a crisis of identity when we're moving away from doing the thing that we associate with our own identity.
Yeah.
Like isn't this who I am? Like, doing the thing. And I would hope that people can imagine themselves to be more than just a person that does the thing.
Yeah, well, and that was part of my post yesterday where I compared, like, thinking of like vehicles, like cars.
Yeah.
Carburetors, fuel injected cars. Like, don't give me a car that has a carburetor today. I don't want that. Well, what about the mechanics that they built their life on that skill?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like similar thing with developers. So like my point is like, yep, I have a good time writing code.
Yeah.
When I do, I like it pretty clean, well structured and everything.
Yeah.
But that's not what float my boat. Like I can do away with like, I don't need that. If I don't have to write code, I'm fine with that.
Right.
If I do want to get down, on it and write some code, I can still do that.
Do it.
But that's not what drives me. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with like how things are going because of this. It is part of my identity and my mindset, right? I care more about like presenting what I've built to stakeholders and seeing their reaction, because it's like, yes, like that's what floats my boat. The writing some code and showing to another coder and like, oh, that code is great, and this is like, oh, thanks, man, appreciate it. But
that doesn't really do it.
Yeah.
What if you were the person who enjoys being asked questions? The person who, damn, if I'm running into this issue, all I have to do is go and talk to Claudio and have him look at my code and he'll point, oh, that's your problem. What if you were that person and that is what floats your boat and that goes away because now I can point the problem at non-Claudio. I can point instead of Claudio, Claude.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
If that was your identity and what really floated your boat, and this is no longer happening because it doesn't have to, we don't have to come to you, then what does that do for your, concept of self?
Yeah.
But that's for another episode.
That's for another one. Maybe next one, maybe 2 weeks from now. We don't know. We never know.
Whenever we get back to it, we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Yeah. So that was great. Thanks for watching, attending. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Reflect, practice.
There you go.
And also practice your reflection if you have time.
Do that. See ya.